What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
All right, bright and early on a Saturday morning, it is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys with me this morning. Time didn't change, so it's still dark. It's not 7 p.m., it's 7 a.m. on a Saturday, but if you looked outside, you would be thinking it's still nighttime. So y'all get on up, get your day started. I know many people here in Baton Rouge getting their day started. The St. Patrick's Day Parade is going to be rolling today at 11 o'clock. Always a good time. It's one of the biggest parades in Baton Rouge, aside from Spanish Town and, in my opinion. So hope everybody's up this morning getting the day started. And for those of you over in Atlanta, you're an hour ahead, so you should already be getting up, getting breakfast, shaking back from that Atlanta nightlife last night, because it was a reason to celebrate. Southern University men and women's basketball teams are headed to the SWAC championship this morning, and they're going to both be playing this evening. So, of course, we got to have Coach Carlos Funches, the head women's basketball coach. He's going to join us here on the show, as well as Coach Kevin Johnson, the head men's basketball coach at Southern University. Both of those brothers, man, if you've been listening to the Jaguar Journal all basketball season, you've been following the journey of the team, listening to the coaches and understanding how we got here. So we're going to get a chance to talk to both of those coaches and have an opportunity to see some of this March Madness that's going on. Because that's what it is. It's March Madness. That's what it is. And I'm excited. I can tell you last night, watching that Southern FAMU game, watching Mike hit that three, put him away, then going back, watching the women's team take down. Listen, I had a lot of respect for Coach Dawn Thornton because of what she did at UAPB, taking them to a championship, what she's done this year at Alabama A&M, 17-1 in conference play. But it just seems like she can never get it done when it matters most, in this Southern right there in no way. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie to you. I was excited. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And listen, Coach Kevin Johnson, his team last year wins the regular season title, and they get into the tournament and they won and done. This year they come back and push themselves into the championship. For the women, back-to-back championship appearances. Remember, Southern women won it all last year, and not only did they win it all, they became the first SWAC women's basketball team to go win a game in the NCAA tournament. Says a lot. Teams been up and down this year, but if you go back and look at non-conference, of course, you remember the big victories over Arizona, the University of Arizona, and the University of Houston. This team showed flashes during this non-conference that they are legit. Now, I think this year when you look at men and women's basketball, particularly in the SWAC, you start to see anybody can beat anybody at any given day. There were so many teams that were just stacked up second, third, fourth, probably the most I've seen in a long time. And then this year, with so many teams stacked up like that, it was the first time the SWAC, in terms of basketball on the men and women, all 12 teams were invited this year to the SWAC basketball tournament. And boy, does it feel good to win. It really does. So today's show, not only I'm going to have both coaches, my man Santoria Black, who's been calling the games all week, will join me, and we're going to recap the SWAC women's and men's basketball tournament, give you a recap of some of you guys out there I know that listen. Southern may not be your team, but you may follow other teams around the SWAC, or other teams in the SWAC may be your team. We're going to do a complete recap of everything that took place over the week. Some great games. If you've been watching on the ESPN app like I have been, I think all the games have been on ESPN Plus. It's been some really great games. I also watched UAPB and Alabama State. Alabama State is going to be Southern's opponent on the women's side. And on the men's side, how about Prairie View going on a run? I know a lot of people that's over at Prairie View, and I say a lot, I really don't. I know a few people over at Prairie View. Matter of fact, one of my boys, Jeff McKissick, childhood friend, still a friend to this day, a Prairie View graduate, my boy Tony Young. But they wasn't the biggest fans of this head basketball coach that they have. Of course, he's had success, but that was before COVID at Prairie View. And I think a lot of Prairie View fans started to feel that way. Back up against the wall, Prairie View goes on a run. Boom, here they are in a SWAC championship appearance. They'll be taking on Southern on the men's side, and on the women's side, it'll be Alabama State versus Southern. How about men and women's basketball making it to the championship? Great day to be a Jag. Even better tomorrow if we can pull it off. Let's get ready to take a break. When I come back, we're going to dive into the SWAC basketball tournament, in particular on the women's side. We're going to start back on Monday and work our way all the way till Friday and get you prepared for today for the championship on the women's side. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White. And what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
For the first time in the 79-year history of the Southwestern Athletic Conference Elite Championship game determines the overall champion. Today, live from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, it's the champions of the East, Jackson State, taking on Southern, the champs from the West. Hello, everybody. George Johnson along with Charles Mann. And I got to tell you, a great poet once said this is the way it's supposed to be. And it is. Number 11 Southern taking on number 15 Jackson State. Both programs have won 3 SWAC titles over the decade. So it's only fitting in the first SWAC championship game we determine the program of the decade. We've got a lot of offense out on the field. And yet this guy right here, he's going to tell you this game's all about D.
It's always all about D, George. You know that. It's always all about D.
An all-pro defensive end is going to tell you that. When you think about Jackson State, this is a team that is very potent offensively, but defensively they've led the SWAC throughout most of the year, and they've got the best player in defense in the SWAC, and that's Tommy Head.
Tommy Head. Get used to saying that name. You'll say it all day. He'll be all over the field. He's always around the football. He's the leading tackler on this team. He also has 5.5 sacks.
At one point this year, Southern led the nation in scoring defense. Then they ran into Florida A&M. They've got a lot of guys out there that can get it done. But at the top of the list is DeMarcus Miller.
DeMarcus Miller, the linebacker coach, Terrence Graves, told me there's one word to describe this kid, and that is relentless. He's only 5'10", 285 pounds. He makes a lot of plays, though.
Relentless, appropriate word for our third member of the broadcast team, and that's Joe Claire, who's standing by down on the sideline. Joe?
Yes, indeed. I'm down here on the field capturing all the pageantry and revelry that is black college football. Birmingham, Alabama is a lovely city. This is the inaugural SWAC championship in their city, so they came out to have a good time. I will be covering the bands, the cheerleaders, shout-outs, all of that kind of stuff. Back to you guys up top.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. You know, earlier this year, Southern beat Jackson State, the 4th straight win over the Tigers. But what's most impressive about Southern, they haven't lost a conference game in 25 outings. They put it on the line against Jackson State. We look at the starting lineups brought to you by Western Union Money Transfer, the fastest way to send money worldwide. You saw the backs. Here's your offensive line. Damon Nivens is a first-team All-SWAC member. Defensively, there's your starting lineups for Jackson State's defense. Chandler, Tommy Head, Edward Reese, pretty good middle linebacker. Rashard Anderson is a professional prospect, and they say he will be in the NFL next year. It is your starting lineup, brought to you by Western Union. Mark Washington is your quarterback, Destiny Wright, the all-time leading rusher in school history, is the tailback. Jeremiah Todd is.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to you. Glad to have you guys with us. I am Perry White. Good morning to everybody listening to Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching on our YouTube and Facebook Live. Good morning. Glad to have you guys with us. Be sure to keep up with the Jaguar Journal across all social media. We're on X, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, as well as Facebook. Subscribe to the Jaguar Journal's YouTube channel. We're also on Twitch TV, Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify. So there should not be a problem. Whatever you decide to listen to or watch us on, we're all over the place. Simply type in the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. As I said before, it's time to dive into the SWAC basketball tournament being held this week in Atlanta. The championships game are today, both on the men and the women's. I got a special guest here on the show this morning, my man Santoria Black, who's been calling the games all week, man. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Santoria.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. So, you know, it's interesting. I'm Perry White. You Santoria Black. Your last name Black. I'm White. Where do blacks come from in your family? Where y'all from?
My grandparents lived in Tennessee, so that's where they are originally from, and that's where my dad is from as well. So that's where they came from.
Well, the Whites, we Arkansas, and then migrated all over the country from there. So it's just, you don't get this often, person, last name Black and White. So I thought that was interesting. But, man, listen, what's even more interesting is the SWAC basketball tournament this week, starting on Monday. And, Santoria, we're going to do it like this. We're going to start on the women's side and work our way all the way through, and then we're going to flip it over to the men once we're done. And let's start on Monday looking at Bethune-Cookman versus Texas Southern. How about Bethune-Cookman on the women's side getting it done 66-62? And then right after that, it was Mississippi Valley versus Prairie View. Prairie View has had a rough season. They went winless in conference. But how about Valley getting it done 63-49? Going back looking at Monday, man, Bethune-Cookman and Valley making it out on Monday.
Yeah, you know, Mississippi Valley played particularly well. I thought that they were moving the ball well. They've got some seniors on their team, some good shooters that were able to get some great open shots. You know, I thought that they played, you know, particularly well. You know, look, I think when you start looking at Mississippi Valley, we were just happy to see the women in the tournament being able to be represented. And you just never know what's going to happen in the tournament. I think that's what's really great to see. So, you know, look, great tournament for Mississippi Valley, a great start, I should say, when they open things up on Monday. And then, you know, that's how why you have all 12 teams, so you just never know what's going to happen.
And then you look at Bethune-Cookman, man, versus Texas Southern. Normally, Texas Southern, when you look on the women's side, they're right there battling, but this did not seem quite to be the year for Texas Southern.
Well, and also Texas Southern lost their best player late in the season. And when you lose your best player later in the season, I believe they lost her at Prairie View, where she was not on the team anymore. When you do that, it's often going to be tough for you because you have to rely on other people. And I think that one of their players fouled out of the ball game late, and then of course, when you start having that, now you got to depend on other people to step up. Longwood, I believe, is what her name was. But I'll tell you somebody that came up big in that ball game. The Damani Dorsey, Maya Johnson came up big for the Bethune because they both had 12 points in the ball game. Maya Johnson also had 9 rebounds. So when you can get good point production like that, it's important. Longwood, before she fouled out, she had 14 points, and Lauren Perry had 10 points in that ball game. But it was just not in the cards for Texas Southern this year. They had a slide late in the year, and it just kept sliding.
Then we move over to Tuesday, and here's a rivalry game between Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman on the women's side in the second round. And Florida A&M finds a way to get it done 55-52, a very close game between these two teams. And they know each other very well. The two Florida schools who joined the SWAC a few years back and found themselves in the SWAC basketball tournament against each other. Listen to this one, though. Florida A&M in this one shoots 19 of 57 for 33%. They were 1 of 5 from the three-point line, shooting 20% and 16 of 20 from the free throw line, getting it done versus Bethune-Cookman, who shot 20 of 69 from the field, shooting 29%. They were 2 of 16, Santori, from the three-point line for 13%, and 10 of 12 from the free throw line, shooting 83%. Three-point victory for FAMU on the women's side.
Well, yeah, you look at some of the point production here. You had Maya Giles Jones, who had a great game there. She ended up having 13 points, and then Shania McCarthy, she had 13 points as well. But I thought it was a rebounding of Brazia Robinson, who had 8 points or 8 blocks and 8 rebounds in that ball game. Sometimes it's not really about how many points you have, because she only had 8 in the ball game. When you get 8 blocks and 8 rebounds, I mean, that's huge. She had 4 rebounds on the offensive and had 4 rebounds on the defensive side during that game. So, FAMU put up some great numbers, or I should say they were able to hold Bethune-Cookman, in that ball game. And, look, while Bethune had a great game in game 1, game 2, they were led by Sinai Taylor, who had 14 points. They held Damani Dorsey to just 7 points in that ball game. But when you turn around and look what Maya Johnson did, between her and as well as Sinai Taylor, they had both were double digits in rebounds. That's huge when you got one player who's got 14 rebounds and another one's got 12.
Here's another game on Tuesday I was paying attention to, of course, UAPB. This is my mom's alma mater, and she loves her Golden Lions, and they took on Mississippi Valley, who had made it out of the first round on Monday against Prairie View. Valley versus Pine Bluff. Both these teams in close proximity, Pine Bluff to Itabena, both teams down in the Delta. This one, the Battle of the Delta, goes in favor of UAPB. 81-74 the final on this one. The Golden Lions on the women's side shoot 27 of 67 for 40%. They were 5 of 14 from the three-point line, shooting 36%. Check this, 22 of 31 shots at the free throw for 71%. The Golden Lions on the women's side get it done and knock out Mississippi Valley State.
Well, and that was because of India Bowen. She had 19 points in that ball game. And then Kanai Gardner, she was just a workhorse the entire weekend. She had a double-double, 19 points and 10 rebounds. But I would tell you, one of the young ladies that I thought went well, and she didn't score a lot in that ballgame. She had 4 points, but 15 rebounds, and that's Briantane Marshall. She was a real workhorse in this ballgame, man, and the way that she was crashing the boards. And I think that the offensive rebound that Arkansas Pine Bluff got just was really wearing out Mississippi Valley. They were able to crash the boards. They were able to shoot the ball well. You also had Jaguar Jackson, who came in off the bench. She had 15 points in the contest. So, look, while Arkansas Pine Bluff played well, this game was close throughout. They didn't really pull away from Mississippi Valley until right around midway through the fourth quarter. But, there was a struggle here at first. But Janiyah Jones, who had a great game in game 1, also had a great game in game 2. She had 22 points. Kyle McCullers, who was from Madison, Wisconsin, from my home state, 12 points in the ball game. And Jada Murphy, who had 11 points. Sydney Marshall also had 15 points in that ball game. So, Valley, I thought this is a good Valley team. And, they're going to lose a lot of seniors, and you can tell it because they really wanted to try to make a deep run. But you got to give those girls from Valley credit. They really hung in there against a very scrappy and tough, talented Pine Bluff team.
I got to ask you, my mom had called me yesterday. She said, why do they keep calling us Arkansas Pine Bluff? We are UAPB. Where did the Arkansas Pine Bluff thing come from? Because she did call and ask me about this. She was like, why they don't call us UAPB? Where did this Arkansas Pine Bluff thing start?
Well, Arkansas Pine Bluff came because that's what your mama named you. That's what the state name. I don't know. That just came that we just started calling our schools like that, the way we're listed. I know people when they go to certain schools, they call their schools certain things, but that's just something we didn't really think about. We just wanted to make sure we called them the right name. That's just where it came from. It wasn't anything. We just did it,
Let's move on to Wednesday. Florida A&M versus, guess what? The regular season champions, Alabama A&M, the Bulldogs. In this one, it was a close one, Santori. It almost looked like FAMU was in a position to pull off an upset, but Coach Don Thornton and Alabama A&M holds on 72-68 as the Bulldogs shot 25 of 54 for 46% from the field. They were 3 of 13, struggling from the three-point line, shooting 23%, and 19 of 24 from the free throw line, getting it done, shooting 79%. The Bulldogs get it done in their game against Florida A&M.
Listen, this was a tough game. I think this game was tied at 30 at halftime. And I was saying to someone that when we were watching this game, I said, man, look, FAMU is coming to play. They're going to push Alabama A&M, and they did. Credit Purefoy, who had 10 rebounds in this ball game. I think they were led by Giles Jones with 17 points, and I think Shania McCarthy ended up having 16 in this ball game. But, man, when you talk about just how tough this team played and how they took Alabama A&M to the brink, I mean, they shot well. For the most part, the free throws, they didn't really get going on free throws until the second quarter. They were 15 and 23 for the game, and, every free throw counts. And that's what coaches tell their players, as they get ready for the tournament, is every free throw counts, every shot counts. So make sure you have good shot selection. But how about Kayla Walker, who had 31 points and 6 rebounds and 4 assists in that ball game? She was just incredible in the game. I think Anaya Palmer ended up with a double-double with 16 points and 10 rebounds as well. But you got to give a lot of credit to a very scrappy Florida A&M team for really pushing the number one team throughout this game. This was never a game that was a double-digit lead or anything. This game was close throughout.
Let's move on to Pine Bluff. UAPB takes on Alcorn State. Alcorn State, the number 2 seed coming into this tournament. UAPB has had Alcorn's number all year. And you're saying, you know what? Can they do it again? And yes, they did. 64-60, as both these teams had just seen each other previously just about a week and a half ago. And then they meet back up here in the quarterfinal. And how about UAPB? 64-60 in this one, 22 of 50 from the field, 44%, 3 of 13 from the three-point line, shooting 23%. They were 17 of 24 from the free throw line, shooting 71% on the other side for Alcorn State women basketball, 22 of 62, shooting 35%. Check this, 4 of 20 from the three-point line, man. If they could just get a couple of those, a few more of those to fall, you're talking about a different game, shooting for 20%. And they were 12 of 19 from the free throw line, shooting 63%. How about the Golden Lions moving on, knocking off the number 2 Alcorn State?
I think the key here was in that second quarter. They held Alcorn to just 7 points in that second quarter of the ball game. It was a close game at the end of the first quarter. Alcorn was up by 2, but then here comes that second quarter, and Pine Bluff just really started putting together a great game, and they were up by 8 at halftime. The third quarter was the real separation. They put up 28 points, talking about Arkansas Pine Bluff, in the third quarter of this ball game. And, Jayla Pelly was just incredible here. She had 19 points in the ball game. Look, when you can have 3 or 4 players in double figures in a contest, that really says a lot about you. Kanai Gardner, again, another double-double here. They were able to get to the board and really dominate Alcorn in that second and third quarter. India Bowen, again, 14 points in the ball game. And that's one of the things that you notice about this team. Somebody's going to be that person that's going to score 19, 20, 25 points in a ball game. And it wasn't India Bowen this week or that game, who usually shoots pretty well from the three-point line. She was just 1 of 6. But it was Jayla Pelly who stepped up big and had 19 points in that ball game. And then Kanai Gardner just doing what she does with a double-double. So look, Pine Bluff was really, really good. They frustrated Alcorn all night long in the second and the third quarter, as a matter of fact. But the fourth quarter, Alcorn did make a comeback. And if you notice, you go back to, I think, the game that they had, the second meeting that they had, Alcorn trailed by 19 points. They were able to come back. They made that game close. I think within a 1-point game, and then Pine Bluff finally put it away. Same thing happened in the first meeting. Pine Bluff was up about 17 points. Alcorn made a run. They came back, but they lost that game close. This is the same way that this happened here, which is really incredible to see how close these two teams are and what Alcorn can do in the fourth quarter. They just didn't have enough of a comeback in order to win the game, and they were out in their first game as the second seed.
We move on to Thursday quarterfinals game. Alabama State 56, Grambling 50. And how about Southern with their rival Jackson State? Both these teams have been going at it throughout the years. When you talk about the SWAC women's basketball tournament, Southern gets it done 64-51 as they move on. And then we come into the semifinal game, Santori, which sets up our SWAC championship teams today. On Friday, Alabama State and UAPB last night in a hell of a game. Bama State pulled away, and listen, they don't take their foot off the gas at no point in the game, no matter what the lead is. Bama State found a way to get it done, 72-59. They knock out the Golden Lions. Alabama State moves on and advances into today's SWAC championship game. And then you look at Southern University taking on Alabama, and once again, this is one of the ones when you see Debo riding down the street on the bike, Craig finally got him. Santor. 51-49 was the final in this one. Southern University gets it done on the women's side. Alabama A&M have been on a roll this year, the number one seed, and guess what? It came to an end for Southern, shooting 21 of 58 in this one for 36% around the field. Southern was 4 of 12 from the three-point line, shooting 33%, and only 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Free throws killed Southern in this game as they ended the regular season, but Southern comes back and holds it down, shooting 83% on the other side for Alabama A&M. Tough day of shooting. They just weren't on like they normally are. 16 of 45, shooting 36%. 1 of 8 from the three-point line, shooting 13%, and 16 of 22 from the free throw line, shooting 73%. Sets up today's matchup, Southern versus Alabama State, but both teams getting victories, and I think Southern getting that big victory as the defending SWAC champs over the regular season champs this year in Alabama A&M.
Well, I think let's start with that Southern game, which was a dramatic game. This game, again, was close with Alabama A&M, and I think that, for Dawn Brown and A&M, this was another tough loss for them in the tournament, especially being the number one seed, winners of like a 17, 18 in a row, and coming in and losing to Southern. And remember, this game was, again, close. Halftime, this game was close. I mean, it was close throughout. But late in the ball game, you got, just seconds to go, and here comes Tate, who catches the ball and hits a shot right there on the baseline in order to take the lead with 1 second left. I think it was a great shot, and it was a great way in order to win this game for Southern University, who had been fighting. And I was telling somebody yesterday, Charles Bishop, as a matter of fact, I said, if you look at how Southern's women's play, the women's side is almost like the men's side. The men's side is the Johnny Jones Invitational. If Texas Southern is in it, they can be any seed and they can win it. I think Southern is the Carlos Funches Invitational. I don't care what seed they are, they can win it. And they proved yesterday that as long as they play their game and they can keep that pace of where they want to, they can be in this game. And I just thought that it was a dramatic win and a great shot by Tate in that ball game.
Alabama State's going to be a tough opponent today for Southern University. Both teams tip off at 12 p.m. on ESPNU. Let's get ready to take a break, everybody. When we come back on the other side, we're going to take a look at the SWAC men's basketball tournament and talk you through it from Monday into today's SWAC championship game between Southern versus Prairie View. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
The excitement is in the air.
And again, he's going to throw the football. Completes this one to Daniel Guy. Guy stood on his feet. Guy's going to go in. Touchdown! Brian Reynolds will come in and attempt the PAT, which is up, and it is good. On the record books at Jackson State. This time, nothing doing, and here comes your man, DeMarcus Miller.
Yeah,
Miller led the club with 17 tackles for a loss, as Reynolds will set up for the field goal attempt. This one will be from 20 yards out. He's 3 of 3 between 20 and 29 yards out. Kick is up, kick is good. So we've come to the end of the first quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up, kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good. Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, a scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now, 17-10. Southern is on top.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. Glad to have you guys with us. I'm Perry White. Got my man Santoria Black on the line with me. He's been calling games all week over at the SWAC basketball tournament. As you hear, we just talked about the women's side. Now we're on the men's side. But first, I got to say good morning, Santori.
Good morning, man. It is, I've been here for 5 days now. Got here Sunday night, and it's been an exciting 5 days with the finals wrapping it all up coming up this evening.
Tell Tyler Carr to stop messing with you on the air. I heard him talk about he been sneaking, bring you waters and cookies from the VIP, and all he wanted was a swag bag. Tell him, man, he can go get his own swag bag, man.
Oh man, it was tight security, man, trying to get into the little area just to get some food. But look, the SWAC has treated us so well, man. It has been an amazing weekend. There's great hospitality. The staff has just been incredible. And, I've worked a lot of different things. And I can tell you one thing is that, anything that we needed, Andrew Roberts was there, and the schooler was there, commissioner. They just really have treated us well all week long. And it's just been a great experience doing the SWAC tournament.
Let's jump on the men's side of the SWAC tournament. We start on Monday in round 1. Alcorn State taking on Alabama State. How about Alcorn State getting the victory 77-65? And then Grambling taking on Mississippi Valley. Grambling gets the victory 77-52. Then we move over till Tuesday. Prairie View takes on Alcorn State. Prairie View knocks out Alcorn 65-56. And then Jackson State versus Grambling. Jackson gets it done by 3, 68-65. Looking at that Monday-Tuesday game, Alcorn over Bama State, Grambling over Valley, and then Alcorn puts out by Prairie View, and Jackson puts out Grambling. Your thoughts on that Monday-Tuesday game, first and second round of those teams making it into the tournament?
Well, I want to start with Monday here because Grambling hit a season-high 13 three-pointers against Mississippi Valley on their way to that victory over the Delta Devils. I thought that they were really dominant in that ball. Matila was just incredible. He had, I think, 22 points in that ball game. So they were really, really dominant. For Alcorn State, they played well. And, if you're the team that only played with like 6 or 7 players, they've had different things that have happened, throughout the course of the year. And for them to be able to knock off the defending champions, I think they played well. And we not just knocked them off, but this game was close in that first half. But that second half, Alcorn just really started pulling away in this ball game. And I thought they played well. You take a look at what McDaniels did. You look at what Morris did. Hamilton. But, McDaniels and Morris both had 22 points in this ball game. The story of this ball game is that Alabama State just couldn't really get things together in the second half. It's all about the half. Jaquarius Standback had 16 points and 12 rebounds. 4 players were in double figures, but they just really could not recover in that second half, and Alcorn was able to win that game. Then you move on into Tuesday, and this is something that Charles Edmond and I were talking about. Alcorn has done extremely well usually on the front half of the weekend, but on the back half of the weekend, because they didn't have the depth that some other teams have, it was really tough for them, and you could tell that they just were worn down. In that first game, in Prairie View is the hottest team in the conference right now. If you go back, about 2 or 3 weeks, Prairie View has just been on an absolute tear, and they were able to get this win over Alcorn State. Dante Horn went off. I said, if he's not in the all-tournament team, man, something's wrong, because this kid had 26 in this game. He had 30 later on. He was instrumental in yesterday's game. So, Dante Horn really stepped up big. Also, Lance Williams stepped up big in this ball game, but they just really wore Alcorn down. Grambling, Patrick Prairie said they have been inconsistent all year, and this is one of those instances. Jackson State did not have Deshaun Ruffin in this ball game. He had, I believe, a high ankle sprain late in the year. Didn't play in this ball game, but Jackson State had some guys that stepped up in the ball game, and they were able to take out Grambling. Although this game was close, they had a shot towards the end of the ball game, but Jackson State's defense stepped up big, stepped right to the free throw line to step in the passing lane of Munoz, who had 14 points in the ball game and played big. And, Jackson State was led by Jason Tatum, who had 18 points in that contest. He was the one that had to step up because you did not have Deshaun Ruffin.
We move on to Wednesday and Thursday, the quarterfinal. How about Prairie View, talking about one of those teams who was heating up? Well, they were on fire on Wednesday, getting the victory over the SWAC regular season champions in Reggie Theus. Bethune-Cookman, 71-67 the final in this one as Prairie View gets the victory. Jackson State goes home as the Rattlers of FAMU get it done by 10 points, 70-60. Then we move over to Thursday. Alabama A&M in overtime versus Texas Southern, 85-74, and then Southern getting it done over UAPB. I was watching this one close because, listen, anytime it's Southern and Pine Bluff, that's a house divider for me. But UAPB gets it done with a loss. They thought they had it done. No, Southern gets it done, 84-81, as the Jaguars got it done, man. Looking back at it, I think when I look at that Southern Pine Bluff game, that was a little too close for comfort for me, but a win is a win. But for Bethune-Cookman fans, you got to just feel bad about that loss, getting in and getting out after having the type of season they had in the regular season, losing 71-67 to Prairie View.
I think we'll start with this PB and Bethune-Cookman game. It was tied at 32 at the half. But, what you saw in this contest is just Prairie View never backing down in this ball game. I mean, they just absolutely played well. And you didn't have, some key players in this game. Doc was still out, and, he's still been injured. But, Jacoby Hetty, he had 21 points, and Daniel Roussan, he had 12 points in the ball game, along with Morris, who had 12 points. But this Prairie View team never backed down. And here's where Dante Horn, again, goes completely off. He had 30 points in the ball game. And when you got Horn on fire, and then you back that up with Corey Wells, who had 22 points and 10 rebounds, I mean, you're really on fire. I mean, Horn was like 11 of 16 from the field that day. But, some of the differences here in this ball game, I would say that Prairie View didn't shoot particularly well at the free throw line. They were just 10 of 20 there. But I think what they really did, and, Pine Bluff was 13 of 19, but I think what they really did is neutralize that three-point shot that Bethune-Cookman liked. They were just 2 of 11 there. And they were, they just were dominant in this ball game. And when you can have a team that, plays as well as they did and go 8 for 14 from the three-point line, that's a recipe for a victory there for the Prairie View and Panthers.
Let's get ready to take a break. When we come back after this break, we'll break down the semifinal game and get you ready for today's SWAC championship game. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back more to Jaguar Journal.
Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff
and the ball was dropped, and Tommy Head.
Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. Hayes now with 187 yards receiving. 169-yard touchdown, 181-yard touchdown.
And Southern's came up with all the big plays.
They lead by 14. And that one is intercepted by Darden. Darden looking for some room, and Guyan will finally drag him down. But we start the 4th right after this. 2nd down in 20 after the penalty.
Oh, he's got a man wide open.
Going into the corner. Touchdown! Reynolds attempting the point after. It's good. A 32-yard field goal. Kick is up. Kick is good.
This is a great football game.
We knew it would be, though. And Torrey Thigpen got us out of our seats.
And this is the punt return by Torrey Thigpen. We were just talking about we haven't seen him. He breaks 2 tackles and runs up the sideline. He has great blocking, but gets pushed out of bounds on about the 1-yard line.
And touchdown Jackson State.
The game is a game of momentum swings. Snap is good. The kick is up.
Line driver. Yes, sir.
The ball up to the big receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out of bounds at the 10-yard line. An I formation. Oh! Fumble Levy. He kicks it and falls on top of it.
Touchdown. Receiver that has not seen much action comes up big.
1st and 10. Washington over the middle, intercepted. On his own play of the game is Michael Hayes with 8 receptions, 266 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
And that was
the
a
last
no-brainer.
one was unbelievable.
In the back of y'all, me and Doug about to go party with the rest of the people. All right, I see y'all.
And another interception. And there's Pete Richardson right there. Made the adjustments a couple of weeks ago against Grambling to beat Doug Williams' team. Makes the adjustments time in and time out.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I'm Perry White. Got my man Centoria Black on the line with me. We're recapping the SWAC basketball tournament as we get ready to round things out. We take it to yesterday, the semifinal during the SWAC tournament. Prairie View takes on Alabama A&M. How about the Panthers getting it done, dominating 74-55? This thing never was close in the second. It just Prairie View pulled off, and it just seemed like it was the Panthers all the way. And then Southern last night, Santori, in a thriller versus Charlie Ward and Florida A&M. And for anybody out there listening around Baton Rouge or anywhere, Charlie Ward, of course, the Heisman Trophy winner at Florida State, is now the head basketball coach at Florida A&M. And listen, he has had Southern's number all year, but when it mattered most, the Jaguars got it done. A big 3 for Mike Jacobs just with about a second left in the game to lift the Jags by 3, 73-70. Southern shoots 31-68 in this one for 46%. They were 6 of 22 from the three-point line, shooting 27%, and 5 of 10 from the free throw line, shooting 50%. But, man, when you look at Southern, they've been finding a way to get it done, and they got it done against FAMU. And it seemed like the momentum swing in this one was back and forward. But when the shots mattered most, Southern got it done, which sets up Southern versus Prairie View for the SWAC championship. And winner takes all to get into the big dance into the NCAA tournament. But going back, looking at those semifinal games for you, Santori.
Well, I'm going to start with Alabama A&M and Prairie View first because, you know, when you go back, you got to go back to that A&M and Texas Southern game when it went to overtime. Alabama A&M, they had to spend a lot of energy. And remember, Prairie View, their last game was on Wednesday, so playing on Friday, they had 48 hours of rest. Meanwhile, Dante Jackson, head coach of A&M and Alabama A&M, they did not have, 24 hours. And then they were back on the floor again against a rested Alabama A&M team. So you start looking at what this team did. Again, Dante Horn, another big game for him. He had 25 points, 6 dimes, and 5 rebounds in the game. Lance Williams, another big game, with 18 points. But I thought Corey Bunning stepped up big, and he had 10 points in the contest as well for Prairie View. And I thought that he played extremely well. Alabama A&M, James Graham, I thought played well. Contavious Dozier, who was a transfer from Grambling, came in, added 12 points and 6 rebounds in the ball game. But this game was this game was a double-digit lead at halftime for Prairie View, and it just kept ballooning. There were some times where Alabama A&M would come back. They even got it to about a 9-point deficit, but it was just the continuous dribble drive penetration of Horn, and it was just getting a timely shot off that I think really made the difference. And then when you look at the rebounding, it was pretty even in this ball game. When you take a look at how the ball was rebounded, turnovers were pretty even as well. When you look at Prairie View and Alabama A&M, but I just think that Prairie View's extra day of rest really helped them out, and they kept them fresh. And again, 3 players in double figures for this team, and they just proved to be too much for A&M on Friday.
And then you talk about the Jaguars and FAMU, a thriller last night. I got about 5 minutes before I got to go to break, but your thoughts as Southern was able to pull it off and find themselves in the championship as well?
I have been covering SWAC basketball for a long time, and I have never seen a day where on the front end you had a last-second shot to win a game, and on the back end you had a last-second shot to win a game. And look, Michael Jacobs, he hasn't been exactly, playing, his best basketball. He's struggled scoring lately, and I thought when you look at that semifinal game that they had, against Pine Bluff, he stepped up, and then you just really just look at what this team did overall. In this game, Pine Bluff was so strong, and I mean they continued to play. But when they played FAM, I thought that this team really persevered because FAM never went away in this ball game. They never went away.
When I look at FAMU, everybody out there look like they should be playing football for Florida A&M.
Oh, man. I mean, you got some guys that are like 170. So I'm like, this dude's a biscuit from 250. There's no way they're 170 anything. And, look, I thought that this game, this game against FAMU was just absolutely incredible. I thought that what I really saw in this game is just a complete team effort. And, Kevin Johnson really getting his guys locked in. I think Dixon Jr., who, didn't have a lot of scoring in that game against Arkansas Pine Bluff, did extremely well against Florida A&M. Michael Jacobs hitting a big three-pointer at the end of the ball game. With Cam Ambory, I thought he had a big game for those guys. And, somebody that, a couple of other guys that were just good, just shooting the basketball. I just thought that this was a great game for Southern, and look, I think the basketball guys were looking out for Southern.
I appreciate that.
Because man, look, I was telling Doc, I said, there's no way that you see one game where you hit one with 1 second left and another one you hit a three-pointer with 0.6 seconds left to win a ball game. I thought it was incredible.
Been an amazing time for the Southern Jaguar fans, and I think Southern, both men and women, man, they made it on the good side of being one of those top 4 seeds. And so getting it done. So that sets up Prairie View versus Southern on the men's side today. And that sets up Alabama State versus Southern on the women's side today. Santor, before I let you go, man, let everybody know how they can keep up with you, man. If they listening to you the first time and say, man, I like how he talks, I want to follow him.
Well, look, I'm on Facebook, Santoria Black. I'm on Instagram as well, SamBlack75, on TikTok. I have a lot of fun. I do a lot of different things. You can also visit my show, Weekend Praise Party. And for those that have listened to the show and you want to wonder where did that band music come from, well, we feature HBCU bands during our breaks because we want to highlight the great music and the great gospel music that HBCU bands will play. We've got everything from tributes from Jackson State. We've got Order My Steps from FAMU, and we've got Let It Rain from Southern University that we play on that show as well. So we give love for all of our HBCU bands and highlight them during our weekend praise party. So you can hit me up again on social media. And man, look, it's been a pleasure, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. I know you listen. You have a lot of Jaguar fans listening. I'm gonna tell y'all something. That Jaguar basketball team last night against Florida A&M probably had one of the best games that I have seen in a long time on the men's side. It was a great game, and you guys should be extremely proud of those guys and what they were able to do in that contest. It should be a great final coming up this evening.
Looking forward to it, Santoria, man. I appreciate you, and I've enjoyed listening to you as well all week, man. And thank you for taking the time to come on and talk some SWAC basketball with me, man. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on.
All right, man. Y'all take care and be blessed.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody. You've heard the SWAC basketball tournament on the men's and the women's side. When we take this break, we're going to come back, and now we're going to talk to the head coaches of the two teams who are going to be playing in the SWAC championship today. Coach Carlos Funch, Southern University head women's basketball coach, and Coach Kevin Johnson, Southern University head men's basketball coach, to give us their insight on their teams getting prepared for the SWAC championship game. Southern, both men and women, playing in the championship game today. Great day to be a Jaguar, and let's get ready to take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Marching band from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Southern University marching band is led by drum major Lewis, primetime Broadway Jr. Show him some love. The human jukebox will now take you through a precision drill under the sound of the SU band will now do the midfield drill to the two. Lovely. Put your hands together for the fabulous dancing dolls as they jam to nearly 367 per minute. One of the many reasons why when you say Southern University marching band, it means excitement. And that only just to let you know that they're the best. The Southern University marching band is simply America's finest. So sit back, relax when you're about to get the most exciting time of your life. Have the feeling, the dazzling, the house rocker, the rock of all houses as the crowd presentation on a ride.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. And as we're talking about the SWAC basketball tournament, my man Santoria Black and I, we broke it down and went all the way through. Now, let's talk to the head basketball coach whose team's going to be playing in the SWAC championship today. And he's no stranger to it. Not only the championship, but this show. My man, Coach Carlos Funch, is the head women's basketball coach at Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Perry. How you doing?
I'm doing good,
Jaguar
man.
Nation.
Hey, I know you don't have long this morning. I appreciate you for coming on this morning. We've been following the journey all season. I've been telling people, if you look back, this team has shown flashes of what they could be throughout the year, especially when you look at non-conference, getting victories on the road at Arizona, at the University of Houston, and then getting into conference play. And we've talked about it throughout conference play. This year, these teams throughout the conference have been anybody can beat anybody. But when it mattered most, you've gotten the victories and gotten it done. And it started with you guys beating Jackson State 64-51. You shot 22 of 58 for 38%, 8 of 21 from the three-point line, shooting 38%, and 12 of 27 from the free throw line, shooting 44%, man. First of all, Jackson State and Southern have gone back and forth throughout the years in the SWAC women's basketball tournament, but this year seemed to be a little bit easier for you, but getting it done against them, man. Talk to us about that Southern and Jackson game on Thursday.
Well, I thought we came out and jumped on them and kind of took them out of what they wanted to do. They run a lot of ball screen action, and what we call ice the ball screen, kept it on the sideline, and they had a hard time getting into a flow, any type of rhythm. The leading scorer, Cotton, we rotated different players on her. So we just kind of wore her down, and they had a tough time scoring the basketball. On the offensive end, I thought we did a really, really good job, especially in that first and second quarter, and got a big lead and kind of went in, kind of coasted in a little bit from there. Had to clean up those free throw shooting woes once again. We were only 12 for 27, but the next game, of course, against Alabama A&M, we did knock down some crucial free throws down the stretch.
Talking about against Alabama A&M. How about this? 0-2 during the regular season, but both times close. A 5-second violation cost us the first game. Free throws and a missed layup on the back end cost us the second game. And it just felt like every time these two teams play, it comes down to the last second. Make you need a cigarette, black and mild, a drink, whatever the case may be. After the game, but at the end of the day, the third time is a charm, they say, in Southern University in the women's side. Get it done, 51-49. Alabama A&M have been on a run as they came into this game, 17-1 in conference play. They were the number one seed coming in. And listen, you're the defending champions. Southern, this women's team shoot 21-58 for 36%, 4 of 12 from the three-point line, shooting 33%, and 5 of 6 from the free throw line, shooting 83%. On the other side for Alabama A&M, 16 of 45, shooting 36%, 1 of 8 from the three-point line, shooting 13%, and 16 of 22 from the free throw line, shooting 73%. On this time, you were not at the free throw line as much, and you guys played some really good defense to stifle that offense of Alabama A&M and keeping them from being able to crash the board and being able to get the shots up that they normally make.
We did a great job, especially on the defensive board. They rely on the offensive rebounding and score a lot of buckets, but I don't think they had but 5 offensive rebounds yesterday, so, that was huge for us. And we knocked down some timely jumpers. Johnson and Tate kept pressure on their defense, slash and getting to the basket. We knocked down a couple of threes. So, we did just enough to get the win. And you know how it is a tournament play. Survive and advance.
Survive and advance. And let me tell you, I can only imagine Coach Dunn Thornton thinking, I cannot get past Coach Funches when I need to get past Coach Funches. But at the end of the day, I love watching you both teams go at it, especially coached by you guys, because that is the level of competition that helps elevate the conference as a whole. And for those young ladies, you can see the excitement on them getting this victory in the SWAC semifinal, man. For you and this team getting in the locker room and getting it done, knowing all season you've been right there knocking on the door. What was that like for you guys at the end of that game yesterday and punching and ticking into today's championship?
Well, after the victory, immediately my thoughts went to get ready for the next game, get the girls settled down. They were really excited, but, you know, I told them in the locker room, don't lose tomorrow's game today. You know, you got to refocus, and you got one more game to win. So we came in and watched film last night. They got some ice baths yesterday to try to refresh their legs right after our game, and did a walkthrough and did a film session of the game that we played yesterday against A&M. Looked at some corrections we needed to make, and, you know, immediately started preparing for today's game.
And you look at now another Alabama team, Alabama State. Both these teams, A&M and State, you ended the regular season on the road taking on these teams. And now you look at Alabama State, and listen, I saw this game last night against UAPB. No matter the lead, no matter the time on the clock, they do not take their foot off the gas. They attack the basket. They're going to try to draw fouls, and they play aggressive, fast, and hard. When you look at this team for you, what do you see that you guys are going to have to do to try to slow this team down who put up 72 points on the Golden Lions yesterday?
Well, we're going to have to control the defensive boards once again. They are really, really good offensive rebounding team, and we're going to have to knock down some shots against their zone and knock down our free throws when we get to the line. We're going to try to pound it in the paint a little bit and try to get some old boys ourselves. And, you know, they're not going to beat themselves. They're well coached. They're going to move the basketball around. They're going to take the shots that they want to take. And we're going to try to disrupt their rhythm.
Talking about disrupting rhythm, talk about the turnovers on both sides, man, how crucial it is to try to play mistake-free in today's ball game.
Yeah, you're going to have to play a clean game on both ends of the court. You don't want to put people on the line. And, again, I think it's just going to come down to rebounding the basketball. Whoever can control the board probably going to be the team that wins the game.
Man, listen, we've made it this far, Coach. I'm excited. Let me tell you, when we hit that shot against A&M, and they had a nice group of fans in there, you could just, the air just from that side left the stadium, and that felt good to be a Jaguar that day. And I thank you for all that you do to continuously make us feel good to be Jaguars, because that was a hell of a game against Alabama A&M, and I can imagine it's going to be a hell of a game today against Alabama State. They are no slouch of a team. And guess what? Southern is no slouch of a team either. Who are you looking for today to come up big for this team, man, as you try to win a back-to-back SWAC championships?
Well, we just need a balanced attack. You know, we need our shooters to knock down some threes and try to open up the defense for our slashes. And I think hopefully we'll be able to do it. But we're going to go out and play hard. It's going to be a battle, no doubt about it.
It's going to be a battle, no doubt about it, man. And listen, you the right guy for the job, and you have corrected and gotten this team on point. We talked about it last week, and listen, just to keep them focused, and this is going to be my last question. I know you got a busy day ahead of you, but what do you do to keep a team focused in tournament situations, especially crucial situations, as a head coach, to keep them level-headed and realize the battle is still yet to be won?
Well, just play the game the correct way. Play like you've been coached to play. Don't do things outside your skill set and get caught up in the crowd. Just do what you've been doing all year long and try to, you know, execute on both ends of the court. And you have to be the smarter player on the floor. You know, you're going to be prepped up and ready to go, both offensively and defensively. So just go out and execute your game plan.
Man, you stay so calm and collective and cool on that sideline, man. I tell people, I don't think I've ever seen you rattled before.
Nah, if I get rattled, they most definitely would get rattled. So, you know, I try to keep my poise at all times.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you for coming on this morning. I know you got a busy day ahead. Congratulations to you and the team. First of all, just making it to the championship throughout the regular season, man. And I appreciate you taking the time, being able to not only talk to me, but talk to the people out there, the Jaguar Nation, and the many people that are listening across Baton Rouge and the world, man. And congratulations, and bring it on home. We expected nothing less from him. We know when it's time to get to the nitty-gritty, You're the guy to do it. And so we're going to be cheering you on today as you take on Alabama State, man. And thank you, as always, for what you do to bring that excitement to the Jaguar Nation by constantly keeping us in the competition of competing for championships, Coach.
Thank you so much, Perry. And we're going to go out and give it 100%, no doubt about it.
Appreciate you, Coach, man. Good luck to you guys, and I'll be tuned in.
Thank you, Perry.
Yes,
Take
sir.
care.
All right, that was the voice of Coach Carlos Funches, Southern University head women's basketball coach. He's getting ready. They got practice this morning. Of course, when you make it to the championship game, you got to deal with the ESPN. They're trying to put together all the promos and everything for the game. So just for him taking the time to come on and talk to us this morning, I'm truly and very appreciative of that. So let's get ready to take a break. When we come back on the other side, try to get my man, Coach Kevin Johnson, Southern University head men's basketball coach, on the line. And we're going to talk about the men who are also in the championship game today. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back more to Jaguar Journal. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White. And what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
For the first time in the 79-year history of the Southwestern Athletic Conference Elite Championship game determines the overall champion today. Live from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, it's the champions of the East, Jackson State, taking on Southern, the champs from the West. Hello, everybody. George Johnson along with Charles Mann. And I got to tell you, a great poet once said this is the way it's supposed to be. And it is. Number 11 Southern taking on number 15 Jackson State. Both programs have won 3 SWAC titles over the decade. So it's only fitting in the first SWAC championship game we determine the program of the decade. We've got a lot of offense out on the field. And yet this guy right here, he's going to tell you this game's all about D.
It's always all about D, George. You know that. It's always all about
an
D.
all-pro defensive end is going to tell you that. When you think about Jackson State, this is a team that is very potent offensively, but defensively they've led the SWAC throughout most of the year, and they've got the best player in defense in the SWAC, and that's Tommy Head.
Tommy Head. Get used to saying that name. You'll say it all day. He'll be all over the field. He's always around the football. He's the leading tackler on this team. He also has 5.5 sacks.
At one point this year, Southern led the nation in scoring defense. Then they ran into Florida A&M. They've got a lot of guys out there that can get it done, but at the top of the list is DeMarcus Miller.
DeMarcus Miller, the linebacker coach, Terrence Graves, told me there's one word to describe this kid, and that is relentless. He's only 5'10", 285 pounds. He makes a lot of plays, though.
Relentless, appropriate word for our third member of the broadcast team, and that's Joe Clare, who's standing by down on the sideline. Joe?
Yes, indeed. I'm down here on the field capturing all the pageantry and revelry that is black college football. Birmingham, Alabama is a lovely city. This is the inaugural SWAC championship in their city, so they came out to have a good time. I will be covering the bands, the cheerleaders, shout-outs, all that kind of stuff. Back to you guys up top.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. You know, earlier this year, Southern beat Jackson State, their 4th straight win over the Tigers. But what's most impressive about Southern, they haven't lost a conference game in 25 outings. They put it on the line against Jackson State. We look at the starting lineups brought to you by Western Union Money Transfer, the fastest way to send money worldwide. You saw the backs. Here's your offensive line. Damon Nivens is a first-team All-SWAC member. Defensively, there's your starting lineups for Jackson State's defense. Chandler, Tommy Head, Edward Reese, pretty good middle linebacker. Rashard Anderson is a professional prospect, and they say he will be in the NFL next year. It is your starting lineup, brought to you by Western Union. Mark Washington is your quarterback, Destry Wright, the all-time leading rusher in school history, is the tailback. Jeremiah Todd is...
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I am Perry White. Good morning to everybody listening on Talk 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge, capital city area, and everybody watching on our YouTube and Facebook Live across the world. Good morning to you guys. Be sure to keep up with the Jaguar Journal. Of course, we're across all social media. We're on X. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Be sure to subscribe to the Jaguar Journal's YouTube channel. Also on Twitch TV, Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify. And we're talking about the SWAC basketball tournament. We want to say thank you to Coach Carlos Funches taking some time out and talking to us about the women's team who will be playing in the championship today. But guess what? They're not the only one there to be in the championship today. Southern's men's basketball team will be competing for a SWAC championship in today's championship game as well. And guess what? We got the head guy in charge, my man, Coach Kevin Johnson. Good morning, Coach.
Barry, good morning.
I appreciate you taking some time out your busy schedule. I know on championship days, it takes focus and it takes a lot of practice getting your team together, man. So thank you first and foremost to come on, not only to talk to me, but the Jaguar Nation and many people that's out there listening. First of all, Coach, how about them Jags?
How about them doggone Jaguars, man? I tell you what, we've had enough lessons this year and learning how to do without. So they just continue to be resilient, and we're gonna have to do it one more time today.
One more time today, man. And it's, I talked about it early in the show, considering last year you were the regular season champions and coming to the SWAC tournament and then get the one and done against Grambling. But this year, a life lesson, a learning lesson, how to fight, how to endure, how to push through. And you guys did that starting on Thursday against Pine Bluff, man. This was a tough one. Look, I was all over the place in this one, and Williams was as advertised as you talked about when I watched this game, and it was going back and forth, the momentum swings, man, and it was a tough fight for the Jaguars, and Southern gets it done for everybody out there listening in the quarterfinal, 84-81 over Pine Bluff. A hell of a game as the Jaguars shot 29 of 51 for 57%. You guys were 10 of 16 from the three-point line, shooting 63%, and 16 of 23 from the free throw line, shooting 70%. On the other side for the Golden Lions of UAPB, they were 27 of 56, shooting 48%. 8 of 17, Coach, from the three-point line, shooting 47%, and 19 of 25 from the free throw line, shooting 76%. We got it done when it mattered most down the stretch, but the pendulum, it was going back and forth. I didn't know how this was going to go, Coach.
Perry, I'll tell you what, Perry, all these games have gone back and forth, and you can go, start at the beginning of conference play for everybody and taking it through the end. What a year for SWAC basketball, man. Mm-hmm. And then, you get to the tournament, get to Atlanta this time of year, and you have one of 9 teams that are strong enough to win it. I mean, you got to, what's the slogan? Survive and advance. That's what you got to do this time of year.
And the last time both teams played was here in Baton Rouge. Now, something different. Normally, UAPB and Southern normally get that home and home, but it seems like lately it's been that one game in the year. What has happened with the schedule where it's only UAPB and Southern, if you can explain it, about that only one game during the regular season?
Yeah, we have 4 conference schools where we only play the one game and we flip-flop venues, right? And so Arkansas Pine Bluff is paired with Valley. So this year we play both of them at home. Next year both of them will be on the road. And then the other 2 are, Jackson and Alcorn. This year we play Jackson and Alcorn on the road. Next year they'll be at home. A.D. Banks has been a strong proponent. He's really been lobbying for us to play those schools twice because of proximity. And maybe, we only go to play the Florida schools once, but hasn't happened yet. But, back to Pine Bluff, they beat us in a 1-point game in Baton Rouge, a game where I think we may have suited only 8 or 9 guys at that time. And we had a shot to win it at the end. But it was still another close back and forth game. And so we knew that, first round tournament game wasn't going to be any different. And we're just glad that we were able to have a great shooting night and play very well as a team and get that victory.
Make sure I let my mama know we got that victory too. And everybody else back in Pine Bluff we got it done because they had a whole watch party in Pine Bluff and you spoiled it. So I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you. Now we move on to the semifinal game, Southern versus Florida A&M. Charlie Ward, of course, Heisman Trophy winner, takes over Florida A&M and has them playing some really good basketball this year. And we have struggled with them throughout the year. And listen, this was one hell of a game. You wanted some basketball? This game gave you basketball. It gave you momentum swings. It gave you defense, offense. It gave you whatever you needed. And at the end of the day, it gave Southern the victory, 73-70, as Mike Jacobs knocks down a big 3 with just a little over about a second, just right under a second left in this ball game. Southern 31 of 68 from the field, shooting 46%, 6 of 22 from the three-point line, shooting 27%. One of those 6 was the game winner. And 5 of 10 from the free throw line, shooting 50% on the other side for the Rattlers, who just would not go away, Coach. Even with the lead, they wouldn't go away, shooting 23 of 50 for 46%. They were 6 of 16 from the three-point line, shooting 38%, and 18 of 20 from the free throw line, shooting 90%. A hell of a game. It was physical. And let me tell you, when I look at FAMU, every one of those players look like they ought to be out there playing for FAMU football, man. They are a big squad and physical, but guess what? We matched that physicality and made the shots when it mattered most. And with Mike Jacobs, who is, as you said last week, second team all conference.
Yeah. Well, the thing that stands out about last night's game, Perry, is we were at full strength. You know, we played them twice during the year, tough ball game in Tallahassee. We were not at full strength that game. And then I think we had 9 in uniform for the game in Baton Rouge. But, you know, FAMU, their team this year, very unique, right? I think they probably have the label of being the most physical team in the league this year.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah, and then the thing that they really do, they smash those offensive boards. And so, you know, when you look at that game and you can get a lead on them, but they can miss 4 or 5 shots in a row, but the way they go fetch it, I mean, they can put that ball back in the hole, and that causes momentum swings. But I'm going to tell you what I'm really proud of our guys for. You know, even though that was a 3-point game, you know, we didn't have a great shooting night, and we didn't do as good as I wanted to do from the free throw line. You know, we only got 10 free throws. They got 20. That's another story in itself. You know, we needed you there last night to get on those guys, you know, in the stripes. But when you look inside the numbers, Perry, we dominated that game in every aspect, right? On points off turnovers, we beat them 22-10. Points in the paint, we beat them 44-34. Second chance points, we beat them 10-6. Fast break points, we beat them 13-11. And bench points, we beat them 41-15. And so we're supposed to win that darn game. And I told our guys that. I said, we needed to match the physicality and we needed to match the rebounding. And we did that, and we were able to get a win.
I think especially on the physicality side, you look at Oshadi and Dixon. Those two guys have gotten stronger and stronger. And Dixon, man, just down in the post, he's almost unstoppable when you get him to go.
You know, he's got a 7'2" wingspan, and boy, he's a quick twitch athlete. You know, if we can get him a little space and get him the ball down there, before you know it, he's up and he's got that ball up over the rim, you know, with 2 hands. He's 5 or 6 from the field, scores 11 points and gets 9 rebounds, and he's always good for a couple of blocks a game. Gets 2 blocks last night. So we need Terrence to continue playing well and holding down that middle for us.
Let's look at Prairie View, a team where we split with during the season. They got us here in Baton Rouge. We went on the road and got them there. But now they seem to be hot at the right time and clicking on all cylinders. And here they are now in the SWAC championship, today's opponent for Southern University. What do you see for Prairie View as they shot 26 of 50 for 52% and 3 of 15 for 20% and 19 of 25 from the free throw line for 76% as they knocked off Alabama A&M? Prairie View seems to be a sleeper, and they're going to be a tough team today.
There's no doubt about it. You know, first of all, you know, they got a guy who plays the wing for him in Dante Horn, who has proven to be elite this year, and he's on a tear. You know, we beat him over there at Prairie View, but he had 46 that night. I mean, this dude can score the ball now. And so that's the first thing. You know, they got a player who's playing at a very high elite level. He's efficient. And he's a tough guard. So that's number one. But when you look at the Prairie View team, you know, they're doing what you have to do this time of year. They are very good with team defense, half-court defense. They're hard to score on. And then they execute on the offensive end. And we're going to have to outperform them in both those areas to win this game today.
What was the emotions like? And listen, I was watching you give the refs hell last night up and down that sideline. I love the passion and the energy that you have as you coach those games, man. And what was that energy like in that locker room and for you once Mike Jacobs hit that 3 to seal the deal last night?
You know, and again, you know, big shot for Mike. But when you have the kind of team that we have, those guys pull for each other, Perry. And they want nothing more than to see the brother next to him have some success. You know, and Mike's had some struggles here lately. He's had some from the free throw line. He's had some, you know, from the field. But these guys pull for each other. And that's our secret. You know, we got to continue to do that and play as hard as we can and let the chips fall after that.
What does the matchup of Prairie View and Southern today look like? What is it that it looks like they can take advantage of? And what is it that it looks like you can take advantage of from them?
You know, I think with the way they've been executing here lately, I think they have an edge in that aspect. You know, we're going to have to do a great job defensively. We're going to have to figure out a way how to neutralize Horn. But I think that the advantage for us is, you know, it's been kind of the reason we built this team the way we did. We have depth, you know. We played 12 guys in that game last night. I think FAMU played 7. You know, we played 11 guys against Pine Bluff. They played, 7 or 8. And so, I plan on, trying to be deep with the bench in this game today. And I think if we can do that and figure out how to out-execute them, we have a great chance to come out on top.
And I think it really shows the resilience of this team, because anybody that watched Pine Bluff and FAMU, physical teams, they're going to attack the basket, and you got to get in there and play. And you guys have been able to do it, especially fast breaks, creating turnovers, but having to limit turnovers ourselves, crashing the boards, man, and making those shots when it mattered like it did last night for Mike Jacobs, man. What do you say to the team today to get their mind right as we prepare for a championship?
We're going to go practice here in a little bit. I'm going to just tell them just to play basketball, right? All the things that we've worked on going back to last summer with this group as a unit, now you just got to execute them, right? Just go out here, play basketball, play hard, and have fun. But look, we need, we got a lot of Jaguar Nation here. Boy, they were loud. They helped us out yesterday. We're going to need them. How you say that, Perry? One more game? We're going to need them one more time. And, boy, I wish you was here to sit on that front row and get after those guys in stripes.
Listen, I was listening to the commentators last night. They was almost saying this feels like a FAMU home game. They were saying it was so many FAMU fans that had showed up last night. And I'm glad you silenced them and sent them on back into whatever hole the snakes come out of, Coach.
Yeah, it felt good. But now it's time to move on, man. It's all about the day right now, Perry.
Southern versus Prairie View. This is going to be a great one, man. I'm looking forward to it. Listen, had me jumping out. I screamed, I yelled, I ran. I was excited last night to see us get the victory. And, Coach, you know what? I was more excited for you and this team, considering the ups and downs, the bumps and bruises, as you said, throughout the year. Man, this felt good. It felt like it was much needed. It felt like long overdue. So I'm thankful and I'm appreciative of you taking the time coming on this morning. Not only talk to me, but to talk to the Jaguar Nation and many people out there, because you guys got a busy day ahead of you. And thank you for taking the time to be able to let us know where you guys stand as you get ready to take on Prairie View in today's SWAC championship game, Coach. I appreciate you.
Yep, Perry, look, appreciate you, man, and what you do with your platform. Appreciate all the support. And, hey, look, as always, man, all these Jaguar fans, look, show up early, wear your blue and gold, be loud, come early, stay late, be loud, get on those doggone referees.
Get on them doggone referees. And look, it's been a hell of a journey as we followed you guys from non-conference into conference. And I'm hoping we follow this right into the big dance next week. So thank you, Coach, man, and good luck to you guys.
You're welcome. Have a great day, Perry.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah.
All right, everybody, let's get ready to take a break. We come back. Hey, not only are the basketball teams winning, how about softball as well, getting some victories, man? Hey, Southern this week just on fire, so you guys stay tuned. We'll be back. We're going to talk some Southern University softball as well, all right? So we'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Game. The excitement is in the air.
And then he's going to throw the football. Completes this one to Daniel Guy. Guy stood on his feet. Guy's going to go in. Touchdown! Brian Reynolds will come in and attempt the PAT, which is up, and it is good. On the record books at Jackson State. This time, nothing doing, and here comes your man, DeMarcus Miller.
Yeah.
Miller led the club with 17 tackles for a loss, as Reynolds will set up for the field goal attempt. This one will be from 20 yards out. He's 3 of 3 between 20 and 29 yards out. Kick is up, kick is good. So we've come to the end of the first quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good. Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, a scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now, 17-10. Southern is on top.
All right, everybody, we're back. This is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Good morning to everybody listening on Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge, capital city area, and everybody watching across the world on our YouTube and Facebook Live. Be sure to keep up with the Jaguar Journal. We're across all social media, TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to the Jaguar Journal YouTube channel, as well as keep up with us. Mike got us on Twitch TV, on Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify. So whatever way you want to keep up with us, just simply type in the Jaguar Journal, and we'll be right there. So we've been talking about the SWAC basketball tournament. One thing, my man Santoria Black coming on with me, breaking up and recapping both the men and the women's brackets on both sides, as well as Coach Carlos Funch at Southern University head women's basketball coach, talking about that big game today against Alabama State for the SWAC women's basketball championship, and Coach Kevin Johnson talking with us about his team playing for the SWAC men's basketball championship today against Prairie View. Now, we shift gears and we go to the other side. We go from basketball to softball, because softball got a big victory yesterday. And, of course, she's no stranger to the show, and always a pleasure to have her on, Coach Brittany Williams, Southern University head softball coach. Good morning, Coach Williams.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Jag Nation.
All right, let's talk about it. Look, it was a tough week last week. We went on the road, and you talked about that Prairie View team in softball, man, and they humbled us. Let's put it like that. We got humbled. But,
yes,
nonetheless, we get back on track, and this weekend we're taking on Grambling. So for any of our Jaguar fans want to come out and support the softball team, Grambling is in town over at Lady Jaguar Field, and things got started yesterday as we got a victory. Run rule 10-0 in 6 innings against Grambling. Talk about your team shaking back after that tough road loss series against Prairie View, but now getting back on track at home against the Tigers of Grambling.
Man, they focused all week long. So they were on spring break this week. So we were able to kind of hammer some things down and focus on the hitting aspect of our game. And it showed yesterday. They just brought what we did into practice into the game.
You looking at Grambling, 2 games today at 12, and what time? I guess the second game will be immediately after, so you're going to have a doubleheader today. But what are you seeing in terms of Grambling State in terms of their softball team?
Grambling is a good team. They're a good hitting team. My pitcher, Aaliyah Zabala, the one who pitched yesterday, just did an excellent job handling them well. So today we're going to be looking for their bats to come back alive, and I told them it's going to be a hit match today.
You're going to be at home not only this weekend, but as well as the week on Tuesday. You're going to be hosting Louisiana Christian here in Baton Rouge at 1 o'clock on Tuesday with game 2 immediately following. Looking forward to that game against Louisiana Christian, getting them in. Are they a tough team, or is this one of those what you call a warm-up game?
Hey, I say everybody's tough.
And then next week, going on the road, hey, you going up to my neck of the woods, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, up at Torrey Hunter Softball Complex. You'll be taking on the Golden Lions. I know it's one team at a time, but, you know, just moving forward, not only conference play, but then non-conference with those midweek games against Louisiana Christian. But what's the toughest thing when you look at softball traveling on, having to be on the road in this conference?
Man, it's the mentality of being on top of your schoolwork and focusing on softball at the same time. So last week when we were going to PV, we had to go earlier than we expected. So a lot of them missed like 3 days of midterms. Then you have spring break. So they're going to be focusing on trying to make up those midterms and do their new assignments, plus like being their headspace being for PV. So UAPB, I'm sorry. So I feel like that's the toughest thing when you're on the road, trying to handle school and be present in the game.
Let's go back and look at that PV series, right? We lose all 3 games. What did you and your staff and the players learn about this team after going out taking on PV? They won game 1 9-1. They won game 2 9-3, and game 3 8-5. You know, they have been the perennial power in this conference. And for you, what did you learn? What was it, the takeaways after that?
That series was tough. It was our first conference series. The main thing that I took away about my girls, or what I was upset about, to be honest, is we didn't do our best. We let the pressure of the first conference series get to us. Literally balls dropped out of our gloves. Like, the scores sound terrible, but we were in it for, especially that last game, we were up 3-0 for majority of the game. The second game, they were up 4-0, and we had 2 back-to-back home runs to get 3-4. And then the next inning, we had like 5 errors in the next inning. So it just taught me to tell them, like, we need to be fearless. You need to, if you're gonna lose, at least you can leave with your head held high, and not because you were nervous or timid or put too much pressure on yourself to win.
You come into that series last week with a 4-game win streak with victories over East Texas A&M, the University of Memphis, in 2 games against Dillard. 3-game losing, then coming to today after winning yesterday against Grambling. In terms of young ladies, who are you looking to really step up after that loss as a reality check on this team?
Aaliyah Zambala. So she did great yesterday. She started off with us with Prairie View last weekend and only lasted 1 inning. Had a little tight pressure with the umpire in her zone, but that's something that she should be used to and be able to push through. And she did her thing yesterday. Also, my freshman, who has been hitter of the week a few times, Prestasia White, she had an opportunity with bases loaded to do something last weekend, and we struck out a few times with runners in scoring position. So her being able to, be a freshman and being able to step up in those big moments, we're ready for her to do that again. So that's what we're looking at. And the women's basketball team and the men's basketball team, they've been fueling us. We've been watching together. We've been watching as a group. We've been cheering it on. All that is coming back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So we're going to keep that same energy today.
Hey, what they say, I like the energy, what's going on, and I like what's happening over there at softball. You guys currently sitting on the season at 11-10, 1-3 in conference play, 2-0 at home, 5-4 on the road, but trying to get it together and trying to, keep that momentum going of what you've had throughout the year thus far, coming out of non-conference and now getting into conference play in those midweek games. I'm going to continuously support you guys, try to make sure everybody else comes out and support. Not only do they have the games this weekend against Grambling, everybody, but as well as on Tuesday with Louisiana Christian. First game today against Grambling. The first pitch will be at 12 p.m. with the second game immediately following after. Now, It is free to attend, right, Coach?
It's definitely free. We had some local high school teams come out yesterday too. If you're a high school coach and you're in the area, bring your team, especially with two top HBCUs playing each other right here in your backyard.
And not only that, can I bring my cooler and my crawfish and watch some softball?
Yeah, but you got to sneak me a crawfish every swing, every inning. That's the only rule.
You're going to be over there peeling crawfish. It's okay. If that brings it on home, that's what it's going to be, Coach. Before I get ready to let you go, first of all, I appreciate you for taking the time and coming on and talking with us, and just what you continue to build over there at Southern University and the foundation. And for you with this foundation, you find success in the season, then you get humble moments like last week. But in that up and down as a coach for you, what is that process like?
It is direction. So everything happens for a reason. And if we didn't get humbled last weekend, it's better to get humbled early than in the conference tournament. So it made me focus on our team and not so much strategy with the other team. Like, it's some things that we need to work on to be successful. And it got exposed last weekend, and we had the opportunity to fix those things. So we're excited to keep moving forward.
I'm excited that you guys are moving forward, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on. Had to shout you guys out getting that victory. Anytime we get a big victory and run rule Grambling, we're going to talk about it, all right? We're not just going to let that slide under the rug. And we got to send those Tigers back up to North Louisiana with those L's. So, Coach, appreciate you for coming on. And anybody here in the Baton Rouge capital city area, you want to get out and watch some great softball today, you can go over and head on the north side of town to check out Southern and Grambling. It's a rivalry game. I'm sure the chants are crazy when this one between Southern and Grambling, right?
Of course, always.
Do you ever get in on the chants, or do you ever, like, from a coaching standpoint, what's your thoughts on the chants?
I love the chants. I just say, don't take it personal. So we talk about it. We actually practice that in practice when we're scrimmaging each other. I was like, get in each other's heads. That's what we want. So I enjoy it.
Well, Coach, we enjoy what you're doing over there, and you have the softball team headed in the right direction. Congratulations on that 10-0 win against Grambling yesterday. Keep it going today. And listen, it's always great to hear accountability about humbling moments, learning from a loss, and understanding there's something to gain from it. So, anytime you hear a coach that can stand up and say, hey, we didn't do well, but it's something to learn from it, that's always great when a coach can handle that, because that means a leader in terms of being able to go out there and get those young ladies prepared, having them to be accountable. So I appreciate you for doing all that you do, Coach. And listen, we wish you great luck today, on Tuesday, and on the road next week in Pine Bluff.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That's the voice of Coach Brittany Williams. She's the head softball coach over at Southern University. You guys stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff,
and the ball was dropped, and Tommy Head.
Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
pass. It's a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. Hayes now with 187 yards receiving. 169-yard touchdown, 181-yard touchdown.
And Southern's came up with all the big plays.
They lead by 14. And that one is intercepted by Darden. Darden looking for some room, and Gallion will finally drag him down. But we start the 4th right after this. 2nd down and 20 after the penalty.
He's got a man wide open.
Going into the corner. Touchdown! Reynolds attempting the point after. It's good. A 32-yard field goal. Kick is up. Kick is good.
This is a great football game.
We knew it would be, though. And Torrey Thigpen got us out of our seats.
And this is the punt return by Torrey Thigpen. We were just talking about we haven't seen him. He breaks 2 tackles and runs up the sideline. He has great blocking but gets pushed out of bounds on about the 1 yard line.
And touchdown Jackson State.
The game is a game of momentum swings. Snap is good. The kick is up.
Non-driver. Yes, sir.
The ball up to the big receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out of bounds at the 10-yard line. An I formation. Oh! Fumble-Levy. He kicks it and falls on top of it.
Touchdown. Receiver that has not seen much action comes up big.
1st and 10. Washington over the middle with intercepted. On his own play of the game is Michael Hayes with 8 receptions, 266 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
And that was
the last one was unbelievable.
In the back of y'all, me and Doug about to go party with the rest of the people. All right, I see y'all.
And another interception. And there's Pete Richardson right there. Made the adjustments a couple of weeks ago against Grambling to beat Doug Williams' team. Makes the adjustments time in and time out. And because of it.
All right, everybody, we're back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. Glad to have you guys with us. I am Perry White. Good morning to everybody. Get your day started. I know we lost an hour, but I think it's starting to get daylight out there now. So you should be waking up, getting the day going. Glad to have you guys with us. Everything good, Mike? No, something going on here in the studio. We're not sure what happened, but something's going on. But long as you guys hear me, that's all that matters. And listen, glad to have you guys with us. For everybody out there listening on Talk 107.3 FM, be sure to listen and tune in every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And everybody out there watching on our YouTube and on our Facebook, subscribe, follow, hit the like button. Keep up with us as we continue to bring you Southern University, SWAC, HBCU, all that good stuff, news and whatever else each and every week. But as we keep things going, listen, Southern and men and women both playing for a championship today on the men and women's side in the SWAC conference tournament. What a hell of a way to do it, right? How often do you get your men and your women's team in the conference championship? So for Southern women, they're going for back-to-back. Remember, Southern women last year won it all. They were the first SWAC women's team to ever go into the NCAA tournament and pull off a victory. Can they do it again? They've shown flashes of it going on the road this year, getting victories against a team like Arizona, getting victories against a team like the University of Houston, getting victories against a team like Alabama A&M, who was 17-1 in conference play this year, who had went on to win the regular season title, and then Southern sends them packing. So right now, Southern women's team, you can never count them out, and Coach Carlos Funches, they are a team to have to be reckoned with. And how about Coach Johnson? Thank you for coming on this morning. They get it done right. A lot of naysayers last year because of the regular season championship, and they go 1-0, one and done, in the tournament. But this year, going on the run, and let me tell you, that Pine Bluff and FAMU team are two physical damn ball clubs. Everybody on FAMU, I thought, should be going out in spring football once the season is over with. That's how physical they are. And when you see them in the size, and I saw them in person when they came to Baton Rouge, Charlie Ward went and recruited football players. They went and recruited football players, not basketball players. So, but those guys can play. And anybody that's watching on the live stream, of course, yeah, we're having some technical issues here in the studio. So it went black, I think, the screen. So just bear with it. Hey, we at the end of the show anyway, so no need to be worried about it. We didn't made it this far. As long as you can hear us, it's all good. But at the end of the day, what's all good is the Southern Jaguars playing for SWAC championships on the men and the women's side. Congratulations to Coach Funches and Coach Johnson. Now we got to get it done. So all my listeners, because we get listeners over in Atlanta and the surrounding areas that watch and listen to us on our YouTube and Facebook, get your butt up and get over there today to support these teams. Let's get the Jaguar Nation in there. We talk about winning championships, right? Everybody tells me all you got to do is get to the championship, and that's what's going to ignite everybody. Well, get your butt over there and get in there and support these teams. If I could, I would. I'm in Baton Rouge today, though. Couldn't get over there. I'm in Baton Rouge, but For those of you that can get there, for those of you can't, guess what? We're going to watch it. ESPNU should have the coverage. If you got the ESPN app, guess what? You tuned in like I've been all week watching these games. So I'm glad to see it. I'm going to tell you what. In all honesty, I'm surprised that Prairie View making it this far on the men's side. Southern and Prairie View on the men. I'm surprised Prairie View made it this far. On the women's side, Southern had been struggling with A&M down the stretch. Go back to that game in Baton Rouge, man, a 5-second violation cost us that game, and then A&M goes down, knock down a couple free throws with a foul down on the other end and wins that game. I was shocked. I was shocked by the manner in which we did win it. I'm not going to lie. I really was shocked. I'm not going to sit here and act like I felt all season watching those two teams, we had an opportunity. But let me tell you, that Alabama State team is no slouch either. I know Alabama A&M may have won the regular season, but Bama State on the women's side is a really good basketball team. To watch the way that they pressured UAPB and they never took their foot off the gas, no matter what the lead, no matter what time was on the clock, they pushed it. They're going to be tough today for Southern University. Both teams, Prairie View and Bama State, are going to be tough for us in order to win a championship. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to have to try to get it done. We're going to have to try to get it done. We're going to have to get it done. Wouldn't that be amazing? Southern men and women both bring home. Now, let me ask y'all, I don't know. I can't think of recent times, but when was the last time Southern men and women both won a championship at the same time? What that's going to do for our brand. And you guys know I talk about branding and marketing all the time. When you can get a Southern women's and men's basketball team into the tournament, branding goes a long way when you get that national spotlight. Now, I already know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. We're going to play in the first four in, which is a reasonable game. It's an opportunity for us to possibly win like the women did last year, to win a conference, to win a actual NCAA tournament game. Because normally we understand the seeding that we're going to get coming out of the SWAC is going to be the 16 seed once you get out of that first four, and you're going to have to go against a number one seed coming from somewhere. But when was the last time Southern men and women both won a conference tournament title at the same time? It's been a long time, hasn't it? I can't remember it in recent time, because if I could, I would. I cannot remember it in recent time. But that would be big. That's huge for our branding and huge for the marketing aspect. You guys, and I know I talk about this all the time, the branding and the marketing. For a lot of people, they think just being a fan and just winning and show up, that's it. It's a whole new world of just winning games and showing up now. Branding and marketing is key. It's essential. It is huge when you're talking about pushing your brand to get students to come to your school, to get athletes to play for you. And no matter what, maybe somebody who see you and say, I want to donate something to you. It's no longer the old days. You win, we'll show up, and that's it. Don't worry about it. No, branding marketing means everything. And it will mean everything to get both these squads into the NCAA tournament. Man, what a day. And I know there's some incentives. These coaches going to walk away with something. The AD going to walk away with something, a little change in their pocket behind this too, because this is part of winning. You get something in your pocket for it, and I hope they get it. I want them to get it. Matter of fact, go get it. So I thank you guys for, tuning in today for the Jaguar Journal. Listen, I'm getting ready to get out here. I'm going to a parade today, so there's a lot of people probably up moving around the St. Patrick's Day parade. I got a couple buddies got a place over in the Garden District. We're going to hang out today and enjoy ourselves at the same time, getting ready to watch Southern men and women. And you do the same. Tune in, Baton Rouge. Be excited. Be happy. You got two teams in the men and the women's side, Baton Rouge. Don't matter, black, white, green, yellow, red, don't matter. We need to be supporting them by tuning in and getting the views. Two teams in Baton Rouge on the men and the women's side will be competing for a conference championship and a trip to the NCAA tournament. That is amazing. It deserves support, and it deserves you to tune in to support it. No matter where you're from, no matter who you support, we got to make sure we keep it and make it at home, because guess what? No matter where they go, they're going to be talking about Baton Rouge. That's good for Baton Rouge any way you look at it. Bend it, flip it, spin it. It's going to be saying Baton Rouge. Where is Southern University? The question is going to be where this school is located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's good for us. That's good for our school, and I hope we can get it done. And I also hope you guys have a safe and enjoyable weekend. I'll be tuned in. Also, my Arkansas Razorbacks, I'm just throwing this in there in the semifinal. Y'all notice Ole Miss in the SEC tournament? Boy, they've been knocking off teams. A team that only won 4 games in conference play, all of a sudden red hot. So I'm glad they got rid of Alabama. I could say that. But tune in Southern today, men and women. Let's get it going, baby. Let's bring it home. Thank my man Santoria Black coming on, talking to us about the tournament. Thank Coach Carlos Funches as well as Kevin Johnson. And also, if you ain't doing nothing today, and I said the word ain't, if you're not doing anything, go over there and check out Southern University softball as they take on Grambling, a rival game. So I'll leave you guys with this. Have a great weekend. Let's get ready to roll up out of here. Let's go Jags. That's all I'm feeling. And I'll be back next week, the same time, same place as always. It's the Jaguar Journal. Enjoy your guys' weekend. Stay safe. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.